Good evening, you lovely Twitch chat. It is me, Nikolai, back here with our third game of the series as we have OTS on the spot versus BaeDCarry Fan Club. I am joined by my wonderful color analyst, BaeDCarry, Red Panda himself. Red Panda, welcome.
Thank you.
We have an exciting match. We've had back-to-back game of the weeks, honestly, you could argue. So this is going to be another tough one to kind of top. This is kind of like the third match of the night that's not as exciting, but it has a lot of playoff implications heading forward into the final few games.
It's going to be really hard to beat out that Silas play, in my opinion.
Definitely, as we did see the pentakill in the last game too. But what I want to ask you a quick thing as we're getting ready for the pro draft. Any specific lane you're looking at? Anything that you're particularly interested in this game and wanting to see? Because we did see the introduction of Minneapolis PD last week in the jungle. So what do you want to see going into this week for both teams?
I'm going to try and stay away from bot lane because I'm always biased and I always say bot lane. But I'm kind of interested in seeing how Zealot does. I think Zealot's a pretty good player, and I enjoy watching him a lot. So I'm really interested to see that mid lane matchup, see kind of what the style is going to be, if they're going to be able to get some roams off. And it seems like the past two games have been kind of important in those roams, especially the one with the Silas. So I'd like to see that again. I always think it's really exciting when you have mobile mid laners.
Definitely. And right now, I mean, we have, we're trying to fix LCS order a little bit too. We did mention that we didn't have the introduction of Minneapolis PD, who did come in and replace a jungle, and they had a very sloppy game last week. It did pull up into the upset W. I believe that was against... Oh, I'm already having short-term memory on this, actually. I believe it was up against Rubber Ducky team, if I remember correctly. They came back from an 8K gold deficit from that game too. But here we have BaeDCarry Fan Club, who's kind of sitting in the middle of the pack right now. So as kind of analyzing both teams, what do you want to specifically, what else would you want to see? Is there an underrated player that you think could possibly come out and do really well in this series today?
Well, you said the Minneapolis PD went up against Rubber Ducky team. I think if that's true, Rubber Ducky team's one of the best teams in the league, so I still want to give him a little bit of a chance here. I think that after that game, he might have gotten a little bit of reality check, and I think he'll work well with the rest of the team and pop off. But I don't want to jinx him.
Definitely too, as we will be getting into pro draft shortly. We're still trying to finalize some positions. I think we're having some slight issues with just LCS order.
Yeah, it looks like Zealot is just coming back. I think he had to go do something real quick. So hopefully we can figure that out soon.
Yeah, it looks like Zealot was AFK, probably using the bathroom. I mean, it's a big game for OTS. OTS is currently sitting, I believe, at 3-4. Let me double check the rankings. OTS is 3-3. BaeDCarry Fan Club is 3-3. They're both sitting outside of the number 6 seed right now. So whoever wins this game is tied for 6 with Big Schmidt. So, is there pressure-wise, do you think who has the most pressure, OTS or BaeDCarry Fan Club?
I mean, I think both of them will probably have the same amount of pressure, but I don't think that BaeDCarry is coming in with a new player. I could be wrong about that. I've been MIA for the past week, but I think the pressure lies a little bit more on the spot with the new jungler not playing that well last week. I think that the pressure goes on them a little bit with that roster change and having to try and flip the tides on him.
Like his early game can be a little bit questionable, as we did kind of see. He did do pretty well early game actually. I think it was just the fact that everything kind of fell behind a little bit to the point where they weren't able to, stay even. But they got really lucky because Lenny just basically popped off on the Wukong and got that triple kill, and then JT with probably arguably the play of the year with the Dragon Steel for the Soul Point. That was the biggest play I think I saw out of that last game, and even with last week's pentakills are more normal. Getting a steal from your support, I think, is a little bit different.
Yeah, I rarely ever see that. That's insane. I wish I would have actually been able to catch that. Like I said, I've been MIA for the last week. Had some unfortunate circumstances that happened to me, but yeah, I would have liked to see that, getting a Dragon Steel from a support. That's very unheard of.
Yeah, definitely too. I'm wondering why we're having some small delays. You'll have to excuse us, Twitch, for a moment.
Well, it looks like they're starting up the pro draft, and the Lilia will be the first ban coming from on the spot. So, and the Camille coming off.
Yeah, that's Lenny's Camille. She did bring out in the jungle in the LOC playoffs, but she lost with it. But they don't want to give her Camille in general too, so they'll be betting that away from her.
It's probably a good idea. Camille gives a lot of pressure top, and if they're able to get the Malphite ban as well, banning a lot of meta champions right now. A lot of champions are really, difficult to deal with. So, but Malphite definitely in the top lane can, turn the tides of some late game team fights. Sorry, my throat kind of hurts, but so I'm talking softly. But I'm interested to see now 2 top laners off, and now the Echo off. Could that both? Could be a jungle pick, could be a mid lane pick,
could be a top lane pick. It could be. It's a flex pick, but yeah. I mean, I don't think we're gonna see it top, but hey, you never know. Yeah.
That is 3 bans going towards top lane right now. Malphite, Mordekaiser, and Camille. We saw last game all of the ADCs get focused. Now the top laners are getting focused.
Yeah, that's 3 top lane bans. A mid ban and a jungle ban. Let's see what BaeDCarry fan club wants to ban here, as there's 12 seconds left on the ban phase.
And it will
be yeah, they're afraid of that late game Lenny. Late game Wukong can be scary if they get the items and they play the team fight properly. So what is OTS going to be picking here? I would assume all the 80 carries are up on the board. All the strong supports are up on the board. Nobody got banned out from the bot side. So this could be an interesting draft to see if they do early pick for the bot lane here. As the Swain, that is JT Ripper's Swain, and it will be first picked on the side of OTS.
I love the Swain pick. So many things can synergize with it so well. And some of the really strong picks can too. You can get some shots pulled in for the Jhin very well. And you can also, get almost 2 stuns off with the Samira. As they go for the Zyra. So 2 supports might be picked here. Yep, they decide to go with the Zyra.
And now that is Wonton Waffle's best pick so far. That is her comfort champion from what I have been told. I don't know much about Wonton Waffles, so but I do know that the Zyra is a primary choice for the support role. Will we see an AD carry pick here? Because we do know they like to pick around their play around their bot lane.
They go Kindred. They go Kindred for this one.
Is it too early to pick a Kindred when you have no jungle bans?
I would say so. 100%. I used to play Kindred a lot back in the day. She can get very easily countered by people who can, like Nunu, who can go and clear really quickly. I'm not too sure about that, but I think I've seen him play Kindred a couple times in this league. So he's probably very comfortable on it.
Oh, they're hovering the Kha'Zix. The Kha'Zix is chosen. That's going to go into the hands of Minneapolis PD. This is a good matchup for the Kha'Zix too. So is it just because he can't play any of the other strong meta junglers? None of the other junglers got banned though. That's what I'm worried about now, because now you're giving arguably top 3 jungle over to a really strong jungler who showed last week that he can kind of keep up with a new league.
As the Ezreal.
Ooh, we did see Yogiza pop. We did see Yogiza pop off last game on the Ezreal, but this is Zealot too. I'm surprised. There's so many other power picks though. You have the Samira, there is the Jhin, there is the... Wow. Is that a mid lane Lulu?
I would hope to bet that is a mid lane Lulu.
I would
like to see them pick an ADC there. With the Orianna coming out with the next ban, so it looks like they might target mid lane here.
Do you think they're going to be banning out the ADCs since they haven't picked an ADC yet?
I think they should ban out Ashe 100%. Ashe Zyra is really annoying. I think that they should probably ban out the Jhin as well because Zyra Jhin's pretty annoying as well. So I would like to see them throw double bans at the ADC. Put them on something.
But that does leave up the Kai'Sa.
It does, but
the Shen gets banned on the side of OTS too, so still targeting Lenny's pool a little bit for the top lane. Not wanting to give him anything strong. Or not, that's not Lenny's pick, I'm sorry. But basically, it is actually Guessworks. Top lane pick as Nivea gets banned. Oh. Is that a ban against Bilester? Question mark? That might be, because I haven't seen Bilester play a lot of Anivia, though. He's been playing a lot of the Echo, a lot of different type of, like, mages and assassin.
It's a ban towards Seela, is what I'm hearing. OTS. I think it's probably just an.
And there's the Kai'Sa ban. Yeah. So where is he gonna go? Is he? But you were talking about the Jhin and the Ashe are still available. So let's see what BCFC wants to pick here.
I'd like to see the Ashe come through a lot, even though they have they're going for a little bit of a pick. It's weird the comp that they're going for, but I would like to see the Ashe.
Yeah, because it's, they have a strong bot lane if they do go Ashe Zyra, but Ashe is not really known to be like a Juggernaut comp. As we see the Vayne hover and then the Vayne gets locked in, we get our third straight Vayne game. Will BaeDCarry break the curse of the 0-2? Or is this going to be like NA at Worlds and we're going to have an 0-3 Vayne for one day? We saw Gran Tesoro pick it, lost to the Ashe. We saw it picked into the Ezreal, and we saw it last game that it did not pan out differently. I mean, it was kind of jungle diff in general, if some people want to spam that, but overall, the Vayne couldn't scale into the late game because that game ended in 23 minutes as a Diana gets locked into the mid lane. That's going to be going up against a Lulu.
Yeah, I think theoretically the Vayne's supposed to beat the Ezreal, but like you said, the last game came down to jungle. The Nunu just played really well and was able to get Ezreal a good lead, as the Nasus will be brought in top lane.
Hey, we get DK in the game. Hey, we gonna get some stacks, baby, on this one, as that's a kind of a greedy pick here. The Nasus will be brought out here. I think that's the first Nasus of the league, actually. No, we have seen it before, I think.
We have seen Nasus before. I can't think of what the game was, but
that was a hard loss. I remember watching that game. It was so horrible. As the Cho'Gath's going to be the last pick here.
Yeah, I'm thinking, looking at this, if they would have went with a different jungler, it would have been heavily a protect the Vayne comp. But I'm not sure about the Kindred pick with the rest of the picks in this. So.
And it kind of looked like the Nasus can free farm too against the Cho'Gath lane in reality.
Yeah, very much so. But out of these two drafts, I know I just gave my opinion a little bit. What do you think? Out of these two drafts, who do you think won the draft?
Are we talking about, if in terms of execution, I think right now OTS has a stronger bot laner and the stronger mid, so you don't have a lot of pressure from mid because Lulu doesn't scale in terms of DPS. Zyra doesn't scale into DPS, especially because Wonton Waffle has an issue of being caught out a lot. All the eggs are in this Vayne basket, but there's kind of that lingering curse right now. Is the Vayne going to be able to, swing the pendulum in the other direction and go, hey, we're going to be able to get a win in this game? As we're going to be loading up into the game shortly in a few minutes. But that's...
Like I said, I like OTSs. They have a lot of burst damage. They have a lot of sustain. They have some good picks early game with the Kazakhs. The BaeDCarry fan club, I think it comes down to Vayne Ezreal just putting them in a good position, not having to, get a bunch of jungle ganks that are just going to go poorly for her, because if she can just get the farm lane, she's definitely going to outscale the Ezreal. And at the same time, you have a Lulu and a Zyra and a Cho'Gath protecting her in the team fights that can be really devastating for them. So it all kind of comes down to BaeDCarry on this one, in my opinion.
Yeah, so it looks like Demon Angel will be subbing in for BaeDCarry, actually.
I think Demon Angel is.
Demon Angel subbed. Is he? I have no clue.
I think that's what Enemy told me earlier, but I am not 100% positive on that one.
Well, no, because Demon Angel did sub in last week for mid, so the last match. So this BaeDCarry is subbing in this week, or Demon Angel in this week.
Okay.
Yeah, Demon Angel is subbing in, and we have Zealot playing top lane, with Ghost of Lenny playing the AD carry role. So this is not a Lenny Nasus, this is a Zealot Nasus.
I don't
Another
know.
another interesting pick, because you have the AD carry going top lane and the top laner going AD carry. Maybe he's not as comfortable facing off against Demon Angel, or you know, this can be an interesting development as we get later into the series.
Well, it also
Or
could
into
be the fact that Lenny got completely banned. Like they threw so many bans at Lenny. So it could have just been an idea of trying to get Zealot down there and putting Lenny on a fairly safe ADC. As Ezreal's fairly safe as long as you can just play back. So I think it all comes down to comfortability. But we will see. They could have some high brain strats, next level 5 head strat.
Who do you think wins?
Like I said, I think OTS has more win conditions. So I think that just based off draft, OTS, as long as Zealot and Lenny can play the lane swap out really well, they should be the ones that come out of this on top. But if BaeDCarry fan club, like I said, can get the Vayne ahead, protect the Vayne, a fed Vayne, and one that's boosted by a Lulu and able to be peeled off by the Cho'Gath, definitely really scary. Especially against the Nasus Swain.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge difference going into the late game too. Especially if Nasus is able to free farm too. I want to see if Nightmare is going to be looking top lane for the majority of the game, as they're probably going to just try to keep the Lulu near the bot side so that they can protect the Vayne at all costs too. But Nasus should have a free lane in this game with Cho'Gath, because Cho'Gath does have a good amount of CC, but later on, as you know, Nasus starts to scale with items and health and stacks, he's not going to be able to just one shot with his R unless everybody just jumps him.
Yeah, I'd like to see Nightmare try and focus a little bit up there. Kindred actually has a couple different strategies for ganking top early. One of the things you can do is just hop over a wall and, gank level 2, depending on how pushed up the Nasus is. But I think, yeah, it comes down to catching out the Nasus. It comes down to trying to make sure that Kha'Zix doesn't completely just, camp bot lane. A lot of things they're going to have to focus on here if they want to come out on top in this.
As we're still going through the initial bans too of the tournament drafts, so the composition right now, yeah, it just looks a little bit awkward with that jungle and top pick, honestly, because it looked like you have a really good peel and support for mid and support to help the Vayne out, and especially on team fights. But then you have a Cho'Gath and then a Kindred. I can understand the Kindred ultimate, you know, using the Lancer Spike to keep the Vayne alive, but
Yeah,
I just don't like that Kindred pick. I think you could have honestly gotten a stronger jungler, played more around the bot lane, and then possibly force Minneapolis to play bot side, especially because he's probably going to be either looking mid or top to kind of start snowballing two hyper carries too. Diana can burst out the Vayne. Nasus can just, as long as he's able to figure out where the Vayne is and get the Wizard on her, Vayne's going to be useless against Nasus at some point.
Yeah, Nunu definitely, I feel like, probably would have been a better pick in the jungle. Something a little bit tankier. And Nunu's no slouch for damage. But I'm not too sure. I said at the beginning of it, I wasn't too big from the beginning of the Kindred pick. But it just depends on who they go mid and top.
I mean, because we could. I mean, the Lulu falls off in DPS too, so there's going to be a point where the Lulu doesn't do like a burst damage like the Silas we saw from last game, an Oriana, anything else like that too. So really, you have more AP damage on the side of OTS versus BaeDCarry fan club.
And you're also just giving Diana, like I said at the beginning, one of the more exciting things I like to watch is the roam. And you're giving her free ways just to push in the lane and go to whatever lane she wants. She can go bot lane, and with the Kazakhs, she can. I don't know too much about just going to top.
As we are 20 seconds away from what is going to be our third game of the night, of course, with spectator delays. So we will be broadcasting it shortly after a pause. It's not New Year, so I can't count down, but we will see you after a short break. Stick around as we're going to get On the Spot versus BaeDCarry Fan Club. Welcome back, Twitch chat, to our third and final game here of the AVG League, as we got OTS blue side and we have BaeDCarry fan club on the red side.
Yep, we are seeing just a standard 5-point, except for the one top point there where Nasus should be, but I didn't expect an invade coming into this anyway. Neither one of them really had good an invade comp.
Yeah, definitely too. We see triple. If you look on the OTS side, you have triple electrocute with a fleet footwork on the Nasus too. So that's kind of interesting. Were you expecting something else from the Nasus? Maybe the Conqueror or the Unsealed Spellbook?
The Unsealed Spellbook I think would have probably been better for him. I'm not too sure about fleet footwork. Something I do also want to know is Kindred's not starting it. I thought Kindred was actually about to start the red and try that level 2, but padded over to the blue before I could say anything.
So both bot laners will be helping their jungle on the bot side too, so they should be a better leashing right now for the side of BaeDCarry fan club, because Wonton Waffle's plans will be able to help leash a little bit too, but the Kha'Zix is fine too, as the Kha'Zix will get marked pretty early from Nightmare, and we'll begin the laning phase.
Yeah, I'm not also too sure, like, I'm not trying to roast the Kindred and just have a lot to say on Kindred, but I'm not also too sure about just marking the jungle immediately, because then if, like, bot lane pushes up, you probably could have marked the Ezreal, but we do see some early trades going on here in top lane, and the Diana pushing in on the Lulu.
To the tumble here too. There's two stacks I think that fans want to be keeping an eye on for this game, is the Nasus 2 stacks on the Siphoning Strike, as we're going to get a normal pause here.
It looks like his ping is spiking, is what he's saying, from 65 to 100. So he might be looking into that.
Mid is lagging, so looks like we're having just some slight server issues right now. Thanks, Riot.
Then he says my ping is normally 14 and it's at 15.
Well, it must be nice to have good ping.
I have 7.
Where? What? I have like, well, I live on the West Coast, so I have like 60.
I don't live too far away from Chicago. I live in Indiana, but I don't live too far away.
How is the difference with 7 ping? Like, is it a little bit faster or a little bit easier to deal with, or?
Dodging skill shots is a lot easier, because I used to play with wireless instead of a Ethernet cord. And definitely dodging skill shots is so much easier. But what do I know? I'm still I'm still pretty down there. But definitely dodging skill shots is, I think, one of the big ones, and also just predicting movements.
Definitely. Quick trivia while we're kind of waiting, as we're slowly going to get the game on pause shortly. Which of these out of all 10 champions in this game, which one of them has a World's Championship skin? I'll give you a hint. There are 3 of them that have a skin.
I was about to say.
As we're gonna get back into the game, but answer the question, because we're not missing much action real quick.
It's Vayne, Zyra, and Ezreal. Ezreal has 2. Zyra has a T1 skin, and Vayne also has 2. So we got SSG Ezreal, TPA Ezreal, and then obviously the FPX and T1 Vayne, T1 Zyra. I'm up to date on my worlds.
Definitely too.
Oh, looks like a lot of harass coming in on this Lulu. She already has to drop a pot. Luckily, she's got more.
And she does have the exhaust. So Requiem does have the exhaust, which should allow the Lulu to survive the early laning phase too. As both junglers are going to be topside, the Cho'Gath does push up, so he does have an early ward, but they do know he's there.
They were not able to spot out the Kha'Zix as well, as it looks like Kha'Zix is going to probably have the advantage trying to get that mark. He's already there. So
I'm surprised. Yeah, I would not go in early for the marking if you're the Kindred. You lose the 1v1s pretty easily, as Wonton Waffle is going to get caught out too, and that's going to be a good combo from the Ezreal, as the Swain gets the nice ball into Wonton Waffle.
yeah, Ezreal's starting tier. Obviously, there's always the debate on starting a Doran's item or tier. I think against Vayne Zyra, I would have probably gotten extra you know, 80 HP with a Doran shield. But
Really? Dorn Shield in this matchup?
I would probably do it just because of the high damage. Obviously, you can still go Doran's Blade to kind of poke them out a lot easier. But as it is a farm lane, I also don't judge the fact you win tier.
Definitely, too. Wonton Waffle does get caught out again, too. Oh, and Wonton Waffle has to blow an early flash, too. That is big 4 minutes into the game, too. Doing really well with having an autofill AD carry. This is like the solo queue games. We're like, hey, guys, I'm autofill.
You seem to have better luck than I do with autofills, if that is your outlook.
Well, at least JT does right now, was they have no mana. Yeah, Nasus gets a stack on the cannon. He is currently at 66 stacks, as they're going to get an early recall here. Most likely they're going to be pushing back out too, but I think we're still going to have pretty even lanes across the board.
Azrael gets the 2 long swords and boots, so he's going to have a little bit more of an easy time against that Zyra, a little bit more mobility than he would usually have this early. Farm's still relatively even as they both back. But
now the Nasus also has a bit of a farm lead. He is up a wave, but there is a big wave coming in for the Cho'Gath too, so he should be able to catch up in both XP and in farm.
Yeah, the Kindred.
Oh, Minneapolis! Oh, and the minion gets first blood. The chickens came to play, and they get the first blood.
I don't know if I have much to say to that.
You know those chickens from Legend of Zelda that chase you? That's basically they took revenge for this game. But it doesn't slow much of the pressure. But the Kindred is up in farm right now. Level 4 to level 5 is the comparison between Kha'Zix and Kindred right now. The marking is on the side of the place where Kha'Zix just died.
Yeah, I was about to point that out, that they're...
Yep, I'm at 609.
I'm at 611. Here, I'll go back.
Yeah, you just go back to 609. Oh, did it? Okay. Oh, stream will be down for a little bit. We'll be bringing it back up shortly for some outside issues, technical issues.